Hi everyone. Our group lesson is about Christmas, and we will be focusing on second grade ELA reading and writing. So for our agenda, our theme is Christmas, and then we will have 4 mini lessons. So first, you will see a phonics lesson by Olivia, then the vocabulary lesson by me. The third lesson is on fluency by Alexis, and our fourth lesson is comprehension by Caitlin. So Olivia will be showing us a phonics lesson with the snowman shuffle.
Hi guys, so today I'm going to be showing you an activity that goes with phonics, and it's for second graders, and it's teaching prefix, root word, and suffix. And the activity is called the Snowman Shuffle. It looks like this. I did it on my iPad so that I could annotate it, and if I were doing this with a group of students, I would also try to do it on my iPad and get it projected onto the screen so I could walk around and work as I'm doing it with my students. So that's why it's an iPad format today. So basically how this works is you see there's little snowmen, and on the hats there is complex words that have a prefix, root word, and suffix, and the students are going to be learning how to break those apart and take a root word and put the prefixes and suffixes to create their own words. So how I would do this is I would start by showing them an example. So for our example, we have the word uncaring, and so we have it in its little hat, and then we break it apart. So we have the root word care, so that goes in the center of our snowman, and then we have un as the prefix and ing as the suffix. So then from there, we can talk about how each part means something else. There is a little cheat sheet at the top that has, it's like a prefix and suffix word bank, and it gives the definitions so that students can take the root word and then take the prefix and suffix definitions and then figure out what the actual definition of that new word is. So, but back to this. For this, we have un, which means not. We have care, which means to look after something, and then we have ing, which is an action word. So when you put that all together, it means not looking after something, and that's what uncaring means. So from there, we would then go to the second word, which is unthankful, which we already have in the little hat that's given to our students. And here we would break it apart. So we would put un right here, we'd put thank in the middle, and then full at the bottom. And that shows how that word can be broken up into prefix, root word, and suffix. And we would do this with our students, guiding them and having them actually write in the different parts of it. And we would do that all together. Then for 3, 4, 5, and 6, you will just be giving them the word and then the root word, and then they will be putting in a prefix and a suffix to make it into an actual word. And then for the last two, 7 and 8, you see that there's just blanks there. And for those ones, the students will be able to actually create their own snowmen, and they will put the full word at the top in the hat and then break it apart in the body parts. If you have students who are just superstars and are really good at this, you can actually have them add to each of the snowmen by making little broomsticks, and those broomsticks would be like the definition. So you'd have them draw a little broomstick, and then they would write the definition of the new word along the side based off of what they find in the bank, or if they already know the definition, they can go ahead and do that. But yeah, that's the Snowman Shuffle. I hope you guys enjoy. Bye.
Awesome. So that was a phonics lesson, the snowman shuffle. I love it. Great job, Olivia. And next we will have...
Hi guys, so today I'm going to be showing...
Try that again. There we go. Next is my presentation on vocabulary and a little bit of singing.
Hi everyone, so as you can see, today our classroom is decorated a little bit different, right? So we see different things around our classroom. It might make you happy, it might make you a little confused, maybe you know exactly what we're celebrating. But for now, I want you to just look around our classroom and talk to a peer next to you, sitting next to you, about what you see new in our classroom. What's catching your eye? What do you wonder about? Just look around the class. We have some images, some decorations, and I want you to share with your partner for 1 minute. Okay? Ready, go. Okay, so students will get 1 minute to share. So some of you may have noticed that we have some images on the walls in our classroom, and there are some that have presents. There's Christmas trees, ornaments, some different foods. There's some different characters and animals, right? And some different activities as well. And we'll talk about those in a minute. So today we're going to be learning some Christmas vocabulary, and we're also going to be singing a Christmas carol. So it's going to be really fun. And at the end of our activity, if you are able to identify one of our new vocabulary words, you will earn a candy cane, like the image here. Okay. So to start off, I'm going to show you guys images of some things that you might have seen around the class, or you might have seen before, or maybe they're new. And you're going to tell me what you think they are. Okay? Any questions? Okay. Make sure everyone's ready to participate. So who is this? And then the teacher will give vague answers. So it's not a yes or no. The teacher would just say, okay, and call on maybe a few students. Okay, next picture. Who is this? Call on a few students. What is this? What's this? What is this? What do you think these are? What is this? And lastly, what do you guys think this is? Let's see how you did. So for each of the images, give the students a couple minutes to look at it and then think to themselves, and they can raise their hand and answer what they think the image is, and the teacher just responds with a vague answer like okay or interesting, just so that other students can expand on it and give their own ideas. And then we would check to see how they did. So now instead of just looking at the image, we're going to start looking at the actual vocabulary words. So class, this was the first image we saw. Some of you said Santa, some of you said Saint Nick. Our vocabulary word, the first one is Santa. Everyone say Santa. Santa. So he says ho, ho, ho. He lives in the North Pole. He wears red. He has a big white beard usually. And he wears a Santa hat that's red as well. This is our second vocabulary word. This is Rudolph. Everyone say Rudolph. So you may have heard Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He's a reindeer that pulls Santa's sleigh in the North Pole, and his nose is red and it lights up to show the way so that Santa can see. So this is Rudolph. And this one was a little tricky. Sleigh. Everyone say sleigh. So that is what Santa rides in. He rides in a sleigh and his reindeers pull him. A lot of you guys knew this one. This is a present. Present. Sometimes you get this on Christmas, but you also might get this on other holidays like your birthday or anniversaries, maybe things like that. So present. And this is a tree, but it's a special tree. Christmas tree. So say Christmas tree. This is a special tree just for this holiday. And this one is showing decorations. Decorations. So decorations are for different holidays, but for Christmas there are specific ones. Like in this image, there are ornaments, garland, wreaths. There are a lot of different types of decorations for Christmas. Some of them are in our classroom as well. So this image was of a roasted turkey on a table, and the background has light, so it looks like it's decorated for Thanksgiving or maybe Christmas, but this one specifically is a roasted turkey. It's for Christmas. That's the holiday that we're focusing on. So roasted turkey. Turkey is the type of meat. It's a white meat. It's kind of like chicken. And then it's roasted in the oven. And it's really yummy. This was our last one, and this is a Christmas pudding. So you guys might not have recognized the image, but it's kind of like a chocolate cake, and it's a traditional dessert that some people might have on the holiday of Christmas. Okay, so does anyone have any questions about those new vocabulary words? There are 8 of them. Get those in your head. So now we're going to sing a Christmas carol. Has anyone sang a Christmas carol before? I have. It's kind of fun. So this one, I'm going to provide you guys with the words. If you want a printout, I can give that to you as well. But I'm going to put it up on the board so that we can all read along. And then what we're going to do is practice pointing to the vocabulary words that we just went over when the song sings that vocabulary word, okay? So you guys will have the lyrics on the board, but I'm gonna put up the next part, which is all of our vocabulary images. So I'm gonna try and hide this. There we go. So when we go over the song, I have it on my phone to sing. You guys are going to point to the image that the song is singing. Okay, so make sure you're paying attention. I'll do it first, and then you guys can practice, and then someone can come up and do it if they want to. So we're singing the song, "We Wish You a Merry Christmas." And I'll just point on my computer as we sing it, and hopefully you guys can see that. So the chorus, "We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Santa and Rudolph will fly in their sleigh. We'll open our presents and have a great day. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Our Christmas tree is up with decorations. We'll eat a roasted turkey and Christmas pudding. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year." So then after that second chorus, verse 1 is sang again. So someone else can do that if you guys feel comfortable, or we can do it together again, and then someone can come up after. So this is where, this is where a student can come up and as the class sings the song and practices the words and the Christmas carol, the student can go up on the board and point to each image as we sing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas." So it's kind of fun and interactive, and it gets them moving. So that's our singing activity. And after the singing activity, the students will do a worksheet where they can show what they know. So the worksheet will include a list of, it will include all the vocabulary words, so all 8, and then it will have 8 images to match those words. So the students have to, they're going to do it on their own independently at their desk, or they can sit on a beanbag or the rug or wherever they want to sit. And they're going to connect the image to the vocabulary word to show their knowledge. Once they're done, they need to raise their hand, and a paraprofessional will come check their work. If they need adjustments, that will be addressed with the para. And then if they're ready to go, they can either start drawing on the images just to add color and have it be fun, or they'll get called up front with the teacher for a quick assessment on their knowledge at this point in the lesson. So while they're waiting, they're going to be drawing, working on their worksheet, or they'll be up front getting assessed with the teacher. And then paraprofessionals will just float around during this time and help students if they need it, especially the English learners. Okay, so for the assessment with the teacher, it's going to be one-on-one, and students are called up individually, and there will be flashcards presented however the student wants them, so up and down, horizontal, random, however they want it, but this is just an example to have it online. And the student will be asked 5 words, 5 of the vocabulary words, so that the teacher will say, find sleigh, and the student points to sleigh, and then they read the word sleigh. Find Rudolph, and hopefully they point to the word Rudolph. So this is the first part of the lesson where there are no images involved. It's just strictly reading, showing to see if the student actually knows the word and knows how to read that new vocabulary word. If they have trouble, the teacher can help them out and sound out the word for them. So for Santa, the teacher can say, try again, and say Santa, so that the student can kind of start recognizing those letters and looking at the options that they have. They'll be asked 5 out of the 8 words, and then they can go back to their seat and start coloring their paper more, or if they're done with that, they can have a little bit of leisure at this time if students are still being assessed. So after all students have been assessed one-on-one with the teacher, and she has her notes for that, all students will be asked to pack up everything they have out, all their belongings, and sit quietly at their desk. When they're ready, they'll have a certain routine. So hands crossed in front of them, backpack on, something like that, and a clear desk. And then the teacher will instruct the students to make a line in front of the door. And the closure of this lesson is that each student will be asked 1 vocabulary word. So the teacher or paraprofessional will hold up the flashcard with the word and just say, what's this? And the student has to read the word. So for example, you hold up this card and say, what's this? The student says roasted turkey. Good. If they get it correct, they get a candy cane, and then they get to leave classroom and you say, good job. You learned your vocabulary today, or whatever you want to say after that. So another example, what's this? Show the student the card. They say Rudolph, and they say, good job. They get their candy cane and they get to leave class. If the student gets the word incorrect, they can ask for a hint from a peer or a teacher. But if they can't get it at all, they're sent to the back of the line and they get to try again. And then if anyone needs extra help, if they're really not grasping the terms and all that, which they should after the worksheet and the assessment and the song, then that's when you kind of know that you should probably readdress the vocabulary words on another day if a lot of your students weren't grasping those words with your final assessment and the closure at the end of the lesson. So that's just
Okay, so that's pretty much everything for that lesson. It was a little bit more in depth, but still definitely necessary for vocabulary development. And let's see who we have next.
Hi everyone. So
There we go. So now Alexis will introduce the fluency lesson.
So, hi everyone, my name is Alexis Sapien. Some people call me Alex. And today I'm going to share my mini lesson plan activity that is called Read with Expression. I hope you guys enjoy it. Before we move to our lesson plan overview, I think it's a good idea to share the objective of this activity, which is the following. The objective is the learners will be able to read a paragraph with a given expression or emotion. So this is the fun part of the activity. I will show you why, but I think students will have a lot of fun, especially because of the theme of this activity, which is Christmas. In my opinion, I love Christmas. I love the season. So, an overview. But before we start with the actual activity, I think it's a good idea to motivate our students to learn and get them connected to the activity. So why don't we start by activating some background knowledge, which could be done by brainstorming or teaching them some vocabulary words from the book that the teacher is going to read. It's reading with the students. So I would start by doing that, and then I would move forward to the actual activity, which is the following. We'll read to students the same page of the Christmas book twice. The students will quietly listen as the teacher reads. The first time the teacher reads the page, it will be in a monotone voice with no feeling at all. The second time the teacher will read the page with feeling and emotion, so demonstrating that feeling and maybe exaggerate it a little bit. Then the students will be asked to analyze the difference between the two readings. So they will have like 2-3 minutes to talk to each other and see what differences they were able to notice between the two readings. Then the students will receive one color script or color paper, and it will be assigned with an emotion or expression. Students will read the same page of the book using their assigned emotion or expression. So they get to perform this activity, practice, participate, try to understand their emotion, their assigned emotion. Now let me provide you with some examples. I found this book online. I'm just gonna read the back cover of it. So just to give you an example of it. So let's say I was assigned with a blue color paper. It's and the assigned expression for that color, it's happy. So I gotta read the whole page expressing that emotion, which is happy. So it will be something like, Christmas is almost everywhere. Little Bear can smell it, and so can you. The air is filled with the aroma of gingerbread, cookies, minty candy canes, the piney tree Christmas tree, and yummy hot apple pie. Celebrate the holiday season with the classic golden storybook, which includes the 6 scratch and sniff scents. Now let's say I was assigned, or I got a yellow color paper, which is sad. So I have to be able to express that emotion while reading the paragraph or the page. In this case, a paragraph, but it will be something like also showing body language. I think it will be very important. So it will be something like, Christmas is almost here. Little Bear can smell it, and so can you. The air is filled with the aroma of gingerbread, cookies, minty candy canes. the tiny Christmas tree, and yummy hot apple pie. Celebrate the holiday season with this classic golden storybook, which includes 6 scratch and snip songs. And then once the students are able to master this activity using different types of emotions, we can take it to a different level where we can assign characters to them. Like, I'm using these pictures. I thought it would be a good idea to use Santa Claus, ho 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 stuff, the boys, and then the Grinch. And my favorite would be Donald Duck. It's funny the way he talks. We can also try that. But at the end of the lesson, we want to make sure that our students are understanding what they're reading. They're reading it fluently, and they're having fun. Situation, it's hard for me to express my emotions, and it is even worse when I'm reading. So it allows me to understand the way some students are going to feel about this activity. I still think it's fun. Once you're performing the activity, you laugh, especially if you're performing activity with your friends, classmates. So that's the reason I chose it, and I think the students will learn a lot from it. The assessment method for this activity will be only based on participation. So if the student is participating, if the student is trying, if the student is reading, he or she will be considered a participant. So that's the way we will assess this activity. If we need to make some modifications for this activity, for example, struggling readers, we just change the book or the paragraph or the page or something that's easier for them to read. But we want to make sure they're expressing those emotions and they're reading fluently. And well, that's about it. Thanks for watching my presentation, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexis. That was a great presentation on reading with expression and working on fluency. So our last video will be Caitlin on comprehension.
Hi, class. As you can see, I am very much in the holiday spirit and so excited to read one of my most favorite holiday books. Today, we're going to look at how the author tells us about a character by the words they choose and the illustrations they use in the text. So, here's my question for you. What are character traits? Turn and talk with your partner and discuss this question, what you think character traits are. Remember that character traits are words that can describe what a person or a character is like. So good readers think about a character's thoughts, words, and actions in order to infer, which is a fancy word for guess, why a character does or says something. So, when thinking about character traits, we can figure out character traits by paying attention to what a character thinks, what a character says, and what a character does. And we can find all of this in the text. This is the text evidence. So some character traits are on the outside. So those physical traits that we see, their appearance, and then there's the character traits on the inside. So how a character feels, acts, says. Some character traits we recognize right away, and some character traits are inferred, so they are suggested, but they're not, but the author doesn't come right out and tell you. So for our story today, let's choose a strong character for our character analysis. Someone you may be familiar with. That's right, the Grinch. Now, before we get started, I want to make sure to activate some background knowledge and show you some vocabulary that may be unfamiliar to you that we're going to see in the story. So this is a wreath. It's a Christmas decoration you will commonly find on someone's door. Mistletoe. It is a type of plant that's very Christmassy. Here's what a reindeer looks like. A feast is a big meal shared amongst friends and family. And tinsel is another fun Christmas decoration. So Dr. Seuss uses a lot of playful descriptive language, so make sure to pay attention to how the Grinch is acting and think about what he is doing and saying to determine his character traits, and keep those character traits in mind for after the reading, because we're going to talk about them and I want to hear what you came up with. So let's look at the Grinch. Let's look at the front cover first. How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss. I wish I could read the whole story to you now, but it is lengthy. And for the sake of this mini lesson, we're only going to look at a few pages. So let's just pretend we go through the whole book. So we are going to look at some ways that the author uses words and illustrations to tell you about his character. So let's look here on this page. Staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm lighted windows below in their town. So what words stand out to you there that tell you some character traits of the Grinch? Let's look at him. What do you think when you look at the Grinch? What does this illustration make you think the Grinch is like? So keep some words in your mind as we move forward. Now let's look at this page here. And they're hanging their stockings. He snarled with a sneer. What do you think snarled means? So a snarl is almost like an animal sound, like an aggressive growl where you show your teeth. With a sneer is like a mischievous smile, like a cruel, evil smile. Tomorrow is Christmas. It's practically here. Now let's look here. Then he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant around the whole room, and he took every present. When you look at these words, slithered and slunk, what does that make you think of? What animal? With a smile most unpleasant. So unpleasant is the opposite of pleasant, right? Because it has that prefix un, meaning not pleasant. Okay, now let's see how Mr. Grinch changes throughout the story. Let's look at the end here. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas perhaps means a little bit more. And here he is at the end with the Who's having a feast, carving the roast beef. What a wonderful story. I'm so glad Mr. Grinch had a change of heart. So, my question for you before we start talking about character traits, can a character change? How did the Grinch change over time? So turn and talk with your partner. So what did you think? Characters can change over time. So how does the Grinch change from the beginning of the story to the end of the story? So I want to hear about some of those character traits that you came up with, and we're going to fill out this anchor chart of Mr. Grinch's character traits. So in your answer, I want you to describe a character trait for the Grinch at both the beginning and the end of the story, and try to support it with some evidence from the text. So here is a sentence stem for you up here to remind you, Mr. Grinch is being blank. So put your descriptive word there, because blank, and this is where your text evidence goes. So first, let's just talk about some of those outside traits, his appearance. So what do you think? What should we put here? Tall, yes. Green, yes. Furry, that's a good one. Fat, that's mean. Okay, we'll put that. Okay, now let's talk about character traits of Mr. Grinch before his heart grew. So at the beginning of the story, when his heart was 2 sizes too small. Greedy, oh, that's such a good one. Evil, yeah. Mean, Unhappy, that's a very good one. Sad, very, very good. That's very important. How he was feeling. Grouchy, yes. Uncaring. Tricky, I like it. A thief, very good. A thief is another word for someone that steals. Okay, now I want to hear about some character traits at the end of the story. Helpful, very nice. Caring, yes. Kind. Sorry, so yeah, he was feeling a little bit ashamed, wasn't he? Giving and thankful, which I think is the most important lesson of them all. Very good, you guys. Okay, boys and girls. For your writing prompts, how would you cheer up the Grinch?
Awesome presentation, Caitlin. And that
Hi, class.
be it for our lesson. Thank you for watching, and you guys have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.